What happens when a nation upstream controls the tap, the source of life for millions downstream? This is the reality unfolding in the Himalayas. It's a story of technological ambition versus ecological survival, and a question of power. Who controls the water, and what does that mean for those who depend on its flow? We're talking about one of Asia's mightiest rivers, known as the Yarlung Tsangpo in Tibet and the Brahmaputra in India. Born in the Yangtze Glacier, the river carves through the world's highest plateau, changing names and identities as it crosses borders. In India it becomes the Brahmaputra, a force that both creates and destroys, a lifeline for millions. The river's journey begins in Tibet, flowing east for over 1,600 kilometers, before making a dramatic turn at the Great Bend. Here, it plunges through the world's deepest canyon. But it's also the site of a project that could change everything, a massive dam that has set two nuclear-armed neighbors, China and India, on edge. The control of this water is about geopolitics. China is building one of the world's largest dams at the very point where the river turns toward India, giving Beijing immense leverage. This means the ability to regulate, divert, or hold back water that sustains India's northeast and Bangladesh. For those downstream, the river is a shared heritage, a resource that transcends borders, but when a dam goes up, that shared resource becomes a strategic asset. The stakes are high, prosperity or peril for entire nations. The Brahmaputra is more than a line on a map, it's a cultural artery, and now, a potential flashpoint. The story of this river is the story of power, who wields it and at what cost. As the dam rises, so do the tensions, and the fate of millions hangs in the balance. The river's future is about politics, control, and survival. The question remains, who truly owns the water and what happens when that power is challenged? The answer could shape the destiny of an entire region. The Brahmaputra's journey is one of transformation, beginning as the Yarlung Tsangpo, a calm river on the Tibetan plateau. It gathers strength from melting glaciers, then takes a sharp turn at the Great Bend, crashing through the Himalayas. Entering India as the Siang, it becomes a wild, monsoon-fed torrent. In Assam, it broadens into the mighty Brahmaputra, sometimes stretching 10 kilometers wide during the monsoon. The river's shifting currents create and destroy islands, shaping the fertile Brahmaputra Valley. This valley is the backbone of Assam's agriculture and culture, its floods both destructive and renewing. The river then flows into Bangladesh as the Jamuna, joining the Ganges to form the world's largest delta. This delta is a land of immense fertility and extreme vulnerability. Millions in Bangladesh depend on the river for farming, fishing, and transport. The Brahmaputra's journey ends in the Bay of Bengal, having sustained 3 nations and countless ecosystems. Its waters are a lifeline but also a source of risk and uncertainty. The river's path is a reminder what happens upstream echoes far downstream. The fate of millions is tied to its flow and to the decisions made far from their shores. The river's story is not just about geography but about power, survival, and the future of an entire region. At the heart of the tension is China's plan to build the Medog megadam on the Yarlung Tsangpo, right at the Great Bend. This is no ordinary project. It's set to be the world's largest hydroelectric dam, with a capacity of 60 gigawatts, nearly triple the Three Gorges Dam. The location is strategic maximum hydroelectric potential just before the river enters India. China frames the dam as a green energy solution, a step toward carbon neutrality, and a boost for Tibet's development. But for India and Bangladesh, the dam's scale and location are alarming. It gives China control over a transnational river, with the power to store and release vast amounts of water. This isn't just about electricity, it's about controlling the flow to millions downstream. The Medog megadam is a symbol of China's ambition, but also a source of deep anxiety for its neighbors. The project moves forward as a top national priority, with little regard for those downstream. In this part of the world, controlling the Brahmaputra means holding the fate of nations in your hands. China claims its dams on the Yarlung Tsangpo are run-of-the-river projects, supposedly less disruptive with minimal water storage. But at the scale of the Medog megadam, this term is misleading. A dam generating 60 gigawatts can't function without a significant reservoir, especially during dry seasons. This gives China the ability to manipulate the river's flow, holding back water when it's needed most downstream. During the dry season, India could face severe shortages for agriculture and drinking water. In the monsoon, sudden releases could trigger catastrophic floods. The river's natural rhythm, essential for ecosystems and communities, would be replaced by an artificial schedule dictated by China's needs. The dam becomes a tool of control, not just a source of power. For those downstream, it's a permanent state of uncertainty. The Medog megadam is less a benign design and more a veiled threat. The risks for India go far beyond water flow. The Brahmaputra carries nutrient-rich silt that makes Assam's plains fertile. The Medog Dam would trap this silt, starving the land and threatening millions of farmers' livelihoods. The ecological impact would be devastating, disrupting fish migration, destroying habitats, and eroding the unique river islands, or chars. The region is a biodiversity hotspot, home to endangered species like the Ganges River dolphin. The dam is also being built in a highly seismic zone, one of the world's most earthquake-prone areas. A dam failure here would be catastrophic, threatening millions downstream. These risks, sediment loss, ecological damage, seismic danger, combine to create a perfect storm for India. Assam's agriculture, culture, and ecosystem all depend on the Brahmaputra's health. The dam transforms a shared resource into a source of anxiety and vulnerability. The future of the region hangs in the balance, dictated by decisions made far upstream. Unlike the Indus or Ganges, there's no formal water-sharing treaty between China and India for the Brahmaputra. Only limited data-sharing agreements exist, which China can suspend at will, as it did during the Doklam standoff. This leaves India dependent on China's goodwill, with no real recourse. China's actions on other rivers like the Mekong show a pattern of upstream control and downstream hardship. The Medog megadam is seen in New Delhi as a strategic tool, not just an energy project. In any future conflict, China could use water as leverage, holding it back or releasing it to create pressure. The dam becomes a potential weapon, turning a natural resource into an instrument of coercion. India and Bangladesh, the most affected, have little say in the project. The lack of transparency and cooperation deepens mistrust and fuels tension. Water, instead of uniting, becomes a source of division and power imbalance. Is the Medog megadam an engineering marvel or a ticking time bomb? China touts it as a leap toward clean energy and regional development. But for millions downstream, it's a symbol of vulnerability, of lives and livelihoods held hostage. The dam raises urgent questions about water, power, and politics in a changing climate. As water becomes more precious, the risk of conflict over transnational rivers grows. The Brahmaputra's story highlights the need for international cooperation and binding treaties. Without them, the future is uncertain, caught between the promise of progress and the peril of unchecked ambition. The Medog Dam is a monument to a choice: unilateral action or shared stewardship. As construction continues, the world watches and waits. The river's journey is sacred, but its future is now shaped by human hands. For millions, the stakes couldn't be higher. The clock is ticking.